Hi, and welcome to Unilog's e-commerce feature review, where we're going to talk about search engine optimization, or SEO. I'd like to spend just a few moments explaining why, if you're interested in driving more traffic to your e-commerce website, if you're interested in driving more potential new business for your organization, you're going to want to consider Unilog's e-commerce platform, in large part due to its outstanding world-class SEO capabilities. Let me show you what I mean. So if you know anything about SEO, you know that the URL structure of your pages matters, not just to search engines, but to people as well. The same things that search engines look for, your visitors are going to look for in your URL structure, things that will tell them more about what this page is really about. Now, I'm showing an example here, what I consider a poor URL structure for an item detail page from an actual business's website. And some of the things I would point out that are problematic here are the use of special characters. You have equal signs, you have an ampersand, you have percent signs, you have numbers that are probably not the manufacturer or product part number, other characters that I really don't know what this information means. It's confusing to me, it's confusing to a search engine. Now, in all fairness, I can see that it looks like there's copper pipe fittings, it's an elbow joint. I can sort of discern that, although it's buried among all the other special unique characters here. But I don't really have a good sense of what actually is on this page, and it's not something that would be considered best practice. First, it's way too long. There are too many dynamic variables. It's not using hyphens as word separators, which is considered best practice. And there's too many, again, special characters, unsafe characters in here. Now, why is this a problem? Because search engines will look for certain standards, and if you're conforming to those best practice standards, they will rank your pages higher. What does an actual good URL structure look like? Well, here's an example from Distribution International, one of Unilog's customers, and they do a fantastic job of SEO optimizing their URLs and their pages. It starts with, look at this. I can see a clear file path here, and I know exactly what this page is about in a very short amount of characters. I'm looking at a short radius fiberglass insulation elbow joint. And at the end there, I can see what is most likely the manufacturer part number. Very smart by Distribution International to put that manufacturer part number in the URL, because most likely there are people out there who are looking for this who will search by the manufacturer part number. So having it in the URL structure will give increased ranking factor to this page. Now, did Distribution International go through their entire catalog and manually generate a optimized URL path for each of their pages? No, of course not. That would have taken, if you have tens of thousands or maybe 100,000 items or more, that would have taken forever. They rely on their e-commerce platform, in this case Unilog, to dynamically generate what those URL paths should be according to, again, best practice SEO standards. So in the Unilog CMS, or content management system, that we're looking at here, you can see there is a tab for SEO, and there are a number of different aspects of search engine optimization that you can configure and manage. And the first thing is, we're looking to dictate how the system takes what's in your catalog and converts it into a file path for an item detail page. I'm going to use lowercase letters only. Absolutely. That is considered best practice. Once I introduce uppercase letters, I introduce the possibility that I could have duplicate content, duplicate pages on the site, which could penalize me. Always supporting secure protocols. Yes, absolutely. Excluding special characters. What kind of characters would I want to exclude from my URLs? Consider this. You may have a brand page with a manufacturer name or a brand name that has a registered trademark symbol. Well, if the system were just taking that information out of your catalog and generating a URL, it would put that registered trademark symbol in the URL path if it was using the name of the product. We don't want that. It's a special character that should not be allowed in a URL structure. So we can actually dictate that certain characters would be excluded and not included in your URL structure, or we can replace characters with something else. An example here, I'm going to expand that window, and I'm going to dictate that anytime in a product name or short description I see the quotation marks, which would denote inches, I want to replace that with the word inch. Okay, so I'm avoiding a special character and replacing it with something that's an actual word that means something to somebody and following best practice standards. Even further down the page, I can dictate what I want my word separator and folder separator symbols to be, which would be a hyphen between words and a / between directories or pages. Now, this is standard today. These are the characters that you would want to use, but in the future, what happens if best practices change and instead of a hyphen between words, we used a period or an underscore? With the Unilog platform, you can always adjust to evolving standards by easily changing those characters within the control panel for SEO in this interface. Okay, let's look at the URL path structure itself. Now I'm going to scroll down the page just a little bit, and let's focus on the item pages. Okay, item detail pages. So you have complete control over what you want the file path structure and name of the page to be. For example, I can choose the default here, which shows that it's going to be the short description is what's going to be used in the URL. So my full path URL would be by domainname.com / short description, and it would automatically generate that for me. Now, perhaps like Distribution International did in the example I recently showed you, you want the manufacturer part number to be included in that URL path. Well, I can come out and select from this pick list. I can include the manufacturer name, the part number, the brand name, the part number for the brand, the short description, whatever I want. I'm gonna put the manufacturer part number into my URL path here. And now you can see my full path is updated to be not just a short description, but to include the part number with a hyphen between it. So it gives you complete control over how you want to structure the naming of your pages, because that impacts your search engine optimization. What else can I do in Unilog's platform? Well, I can set up permanent 301 redirects. Very important. If you are changing the name of any of your pages, but you don't want to lose that search link equity you've built up over time, you need to do a permanent 301 redirect. It's the best way to point the search engines from, this is the page that we had before, but this is what it is now. So I may have had this page on my site before, but I changed it to bigcitysupply.com / products. That's the page I want to point to now, and it will carry 90% plus of that search engine equity over into the new page. If you don't do that, you will run into problems and you're going to lose that search relevance. And then I can just add this to any list of 301 redirects. Everything's managed within the Unilog platform. Another thing you can look at is individual page configuration. So let's say here I'm going to go into our company information page, and I want to make some edits to that page. Well, I can see here I have my company information page with the URL, bigcitysupply.com / company. But I don't have a meta description. Well, why is this important? Now, meta descriptions aren't considered a ranking factor for search algorithms. However, they are what is displayed when somebody Googles your website or Googles something about your company. And if this page were to display on the search engine results page, you'll see the meta description below the link, which gives the search person more information about what your page is about and increases your click-through rate. So it doesn't impact where you rank on a page, but it does impact your ability to get a higher click-through rate because it describes what this page is about. So here I've added that we are New York City's largest supplier of fasteners. Terrific. Now somebody searching on my site and seeing that result will see what this specific company page is about. And then I can come down even further, and I could choose, you know what, for this page, I don't want Google or another search engine to index this page. Or I don't want it to follow any of the links on this page. So if you're familiar with SEO, you know about no index and no follow flags. The no index tag here would be, let's say I certainly would not, I'd want my company page indexed. I want people to find that on search engines. But what if I developed and launched a page for a special promotion that was for maybe a handful or a segment of my customer base? I don't want that viewable to everybody out in the universe who might search Google and find that page. So I want a no index tag here to indicate that Google's not going to index this, or any search engine won't index this. It'll just be available for people when I supply them with the right URL path, and they can go to that page directly. All right, so as you can see, this is just a small sample of some of the powerful SEO capabilities that are inherent in the Unilog platform. And this is why so many of our customers find themselves ranking for products on page 1 in the top 1, 2, 3 search results for Google for those items, because their sites are so well optimized from a SEO URL path naming convention. Really takes a lot of the laborious effort out of it and makes it very easy to manage. Okay, if you're interested in seeing more about this or anything else about the Unilog platform, I invite you to request a demo. You can go to unilogcorp.com/request-demo. You can see we also follow the correct naming conventions with our marketing site. Please reach out to us. We'd love to show you what we have to offer. Thank you.